Hello guys, how are we doing? We've got only a couple of emails to go through today. Considering the markets are rather choppy and have been for months, I can understand why there's not much to go through. Um, However, looking at this euro one, it poses an interesting question of if you're using the rules that we set out for prop trading, the stop loss, take profit, risk reward ratio, as he suggests here, is only 0.87, which is not really worth it. Um, so if you're using an ATR stop, which is something that Mark introduced when he was here, I don't, as I said, I don't really mind doing that. As you can see, your stop would be around here somewhere at 33.44, and therefore your risk reward is getting a little higher of 1.63, and if you split the order you can get to sort of 2.17. Having that, you take profit 2 is at 36. Don't know if it's going to get that high. That's the 50 EMA. By the look of it, there's big sort of, support resistance around 35. So certainly, if you're using those that rule there, this is not something that you would be looking at with your. That's the 200 EMA. It's not something you'd be looking at with your risk reward. There's just no point. But you certainly can look at the ATR on it. Another thing I'm looking at is later this afternoon on the 4-hour chart. Obviously, the daily, we have some room to go before being getting back towards the overbought area, or the area where we're looking to short it. We can see that 135 is quite a key level. Once this breaks through, and it needs to come back and retest it, and that's what we're looking for. There's room to go on the upside. So looking at the shorter time frames is another way you can be getting a decent risk reward ratio, knowing that okay, 35 is our target. Let's see if we can get a reasonable risk reward off the shorter time frame. And obviously this is the first 4-hour bar of this morning. The risk, sorry, it's a little bearish at the moment, so you wouldn't be looking at it now. But that's the way I would be taking that on. Does that make sense, mate? Happy for you guys to use this ATR style that Mark introduced. ATR's been around for a while. I've used it on the tools that were introduced it to the UW graduates back when I was teaching UWs. But it's certainly something that you can assist in your trade management. Okay, that's that one. Only got one more to go. Aussie CAD is what this gentleman is looking at. Which, if you, to me, there's obviously, like the Aussie dollar, could be a little range bound. CAD's getting stronger slowly, but it's certainly a level there. Another try to cycle underneath it. We were all looking to get in here. It didn't happen. Now I've had a cycle above it with a higher high today. And bullish sentiment coming back in, and that could be an opportunity. I think this is looking to go short though. Bit of a wedge happening there by the look of that. Okay, so I've identified this. Can understand that. I'm looking to go short. The moving averages to me are a little flat, as is the Aussie dollar is just going nowhere. Um, we can see that, and that's made life tough for trend traders for the last 5 months. Piss off, Java. So the Aussie CAD, both commodity currencies. Yeah, the Canadians are producing better economic data than we are at the moment, but so I kind of agree with you from a fundamental point of view. This would be better to be short than long. Lines up nicely with 62 fib. You've drawn that Fibonacci, that's good. 161.8, I presume you meant. That's nice. Extension, divergence. Yeah, I'd be probably taking this as a potential range trade, but it's out of that sort of area now. Or the risk reward is not ideal. Clearly, you didn't get the opportunity to sell. Like your analysis though, and you're looking at it, exit target should react to major trend line. See targets down here, which is also your 1.272. Yep. I like what you're saying, but just not obviously price action is not conducive to the trade at this moment. So we need to obviously wait to see the selling. Had that on Thursday. We certainly don't have it now. Is that divergence anyway? That's 74, that's 72, yeah, slight divergence there. Good pickup, I like what you're thinking. Your analysis is sound, I can't fault that, but obviously the market sentiment is not quite with us just at this stage. Yeah. That's it, guys. No more emails. Yeah, I will. That's what I was planning on doing. So, there isn't much going on at all. You look at the pound Aussie, that's just chopping either side of the 50. You'd say that's range bound, and very little opportunity for anything of note. Buying, selling, it's just nasty stuff. You really don't want to get involved in that sort of crap. Euro Aussie, this cycle, obviously failed to produce lower lows, so I'll be staying out of that for the time being. I'm waiting to see if it does do a cycle, makes another cycle down, makes it lower. It's a lower probability if you get in here that this trend is strong, because that's your first indication that the trend is over. If it come on, why aren't you moving to the first indication that the trend is over if it stops making lower lows. So whether this was a real cycle or that was just a part of this cycle, that's a little harder to judge. Fundamentally, the euro is still pretty weak. And you'd still prefer to trade it from the short. It's just the Aussie's just going nowhere, so I prefer not to get caught up in that. As you can see there, Aussie Sing, again, it's like the US, Aussie US, it's just going, look at the moving average, the 200 is almost as horizontal as that line there. And the 50 is not much better. So, again, it's not something I'd want to get it caught up in. This one, fundamentally I like this to be long, but we've got here higher highs with divergence. More inclined to probably look at for a short-term shorting opportunity, but I am bearish Kiwi and I'm ambivalent Aussie. So again, I prefer to be long this than short it. But there's just there's no opportunity at this stage. The support's at 109, 109.15, and it didn't quite get there. Just run away from it. It's a 382, I believe, that it's stopping on, which you could potentially look at and say, okay, well, let's put a little of the capital behind it, but that's it's a low probability trade. This one is just, again, no interest. Aussie Swiss is like the Euro Aussie. This little run failed to make a higher high. Perhaps that's just a part of the phase two, and you could argue that, saying, well, it's, you know, if it's cycling along the 50, then this was my first touch, and this is my second touch. This is my second touch, so that's my cycle, and I'm still getting higher highs and higher lows because this could be this action again. This point here could be that. Again, it's not clear cut, but you know, momentum's to the downside, and it's patient in seeing what this is doing. Aussie CAD we've gone through. Aussie dollar, yeah, much interest in taking this trade on or looking at that. Again, you'd probably be taking it from the longer side. Aussie, US dollar is got a little bit weaker on Friday night thanks to Russia sort of backing off the border of Ukraine. So that's why you see all these low tests in on the euro. All the weaker dollar, except for the pound and all the. But is that going to continue? And US dollar continue to weaken, pushing the Aussie back up towards 95. It's hard to tell, and I can't see it in the price action. Pound, yeah, well, that's obviously still in a trend. We traded the phase 2, it's now doing a phase 1 underneath it. Hasn't broken this significant low yet, but it's not far from it. If it breaks that, what's that, 66.90, if it gets through that, then obviously this uptrend is under threat. Technically, fundamentally, they're not too bad. Obviously, a little pullback of 300 pips is 400 pips suggests that the market's taking doing a bit of profit taking. But the economic data is still strong. It's not as strong as it was 6 months ago, but it's still strong. So you've got divergence here, bullish reversal divergence, but just no sign of the buying intention yet. What happened to the Aussie Swiss last Friday? Last Friday? You mean like 3 days ago? This Friday here, that was 3 days ago, that Friday? Is that the one you're talking about? It was just Aussies continue to get settled off on the unemployment data. Had unemployment on Thursday, which was under expectations, so there was a bit of follow through on that. Also, you'd expect the Swiss to get a little stronger on geopolitical tensions. A bit of safe haven buying, so that's also there. Pound Aussie we've covered. Pound CAD similarly just going nowhere. You put that on a weekly, and it's gone from one range, ran, and now is in another range and just going nowhere. Pound Swiss. Looked for an opportunity here that didn't eventuate. It's now broken that low. you wouldn't be touching it until it does a cycle underneath. But the last time it was on the 50 was here, so you know, might be looking for a buying opportunity somewhere down here on the 50 fib and this horizontal level. It's not exactly, but somewhere around there. Yeah, but I wouldn't look to short it until you see a complete cycle and underneath, and it's then telling you, okay, we're now making lower highs and lower lows, but at this point it's still making higher highs all the way up, and be looking for buying somewhere in this area. Yen crosses are a little tricky with this, you know, Gaza, or ISIS, Ukraine, all these areas. The yen is still holding strong because of that safe haven buying into the Japanese bonds. Not looking to sell it or buy it, just going nowhere. Pound Kiwi, or the Pound Aussie, or Pound CAD, you'd have to say this is more range bound than trending. However, we are kind of making higher highs each time it takes off from the moving averages. The bigger picture is that there was divergence there, and you can see the divergence here, and that it's coming back towards the back into the range. I mean, look at the weekly there. It's just that's a pretty tough thing to be trading. Euro pounders, pound Swiss upside down again. You'd last need to be looking for buying, and we're selling intention, and we're not getting that. A long way from Fibonacci resistance or price action resistance. Major resistance is up there. Yeah, major resistance all the way back up there. 81.50. Nothing going on at that point. Nasty. Euro dollar, looking, as we mentioned at the start, looking for a phase 2 potential trade. With the risk reward on the daily being poor, you'd be looking at something like the 4 hour, maybe even the 1 hour, but you know, the 4 hour, we get a little ring low here. I think the 4 hour, the next bar will close at around 3 p.m, somewhere like that. So this afternoon you might find an opportunity. Euro Aussie we've discussed. Euro CAD, disappointing. We're trying to get this one to trade down here. Good cyclicity, resistance, and then price has just nailed it. Some people are looking at the weekly to take this long. And there's certainly reasonable support here. Yeah. But that was just no, it was a very good setup, an ideal setup. It's just sometimes the market doesn't behave the way we want to. It's coming back to the 618. Yen, no sign of sellers just yet. And with the euro doing a phase 2, perhaps it's there's still some upside left on this. fundamentally this is one you want to be short. Euro Swiss not interested in. Euro pound we've covered. Euro yen. I know a lot of the guys took this one. Nice cyclicity, looking to get short. You'd be certainly protecting or looking to get out of the trade if it didn't hit target. Looking to get out of the trade today as it starts to do another pullback. Another one we tried to looked at getting short. All the selling intention here where we expected to see the selling. Market came and stopped us out, and now it's just going sideways. With the Kiwi sort of getting a bit shorter, and the Euro sort of doing its phase 2 up. And it's just going. It's a hard one to get into at the moment. Not really interested in taking this one longer. Again, the cyclicity is not there. Instead of potential phase 2 trade, no real divergence. 87 versus 84. Game man to trade that one. It's like the Euro Kiwi but upside down, trying to take off, but just hasn't got the legs. Might be a bit of interest in it. Might be worthwhile looking at using this, taking something on above that high there with this 75, 80 pip stop. You've got 120 to this high. You'd expect it to make a higher high. There's certainly room to go in the momentum. Might be worth a few dollars risk on it. Turkish lira, they just had their presidential election. I think they got the one they wanted. Certainly caught up with in the middle between Syria and Iraq. Maybe that strength is coming from strength in the lira is coming from that change in government or that election. I'm not sure. Again, this might be one that you could be looking at shorting. Balance out your euro position, selling the SEK and buying the lira. Can't say you've got Fibonacci. I don't have enough price action to show me that if that's a strong horizontal or not. Or if that's a strong support that I should be aware of. You guys might want to go and have a look at that in eSignal, see what's around. You do have a cycle underneath it. You do have a seller bar here. I need to see a little more selling, which is the rand getting stronger, before I'd commit to that. In phase 2, clearly in phase 2. On the 20 EMA. This is another one that's it gets confusing when the euro dollar's trading higher, or we're looking to trade the euro dollar higher. is the Sing actually getting stronger faster than the euro dollar? And also not enough information on this charting package to be able to judge if there's more reasons for us to get short than just that. Might be like the euro dollar of looking to get short but not yet. Around here is probably the ideal area, more the ideal area in there somewhere. Russian ruble gained a bit of strength because they came off the Ukrainian border. Bit of a bar today. Certainly overcooked, and you'd expect a bit of a pullback in some time, but I'm not going to trade that kind of bar. CAD Swiss. It's like the Euro CAD. You'd prefer to be long it than short it. But it's not giving us an opportunity just yet. And that's the level you want to be sort of getting long at, 81.60. Pretty strong area. Yes, it's a big downtrend that the market's been on, but what goes down must go up, just like what goes up must come down. Trends don't last forever, and this one was in a nice steady downtrend and accelerated and got well overdone. It's now trying to make its way back up again. So yeah, I'll be looking for opportunities like the Euro CAD in here somewhere to get long. Makes end of day trading is you need to really be patient. This one, do you want the Sing? Obviously, we just looked at the Euro Sing. It was getting stronger. CAD took a bit of a hit last week, or the Loonie did. Even though their economic data is still pretty strong, their jobs numbers came out on Friday night, which was like the Aussie positive, but less than expected. So it took a bit of a hit. Judging by that, you'd be looking for shorts, and I just don't know if I'd want to do that. Yeah, Kiwi Swiss. Some people are in this short. Is there an opportunity for you guys now? Maybe on the shorter time frame, you might look at that. You're still getting some cyclicity there. Not yet overdone, but it's working towards it. Swiss Sing is still in phase 2, but you'll be setting this one up, looking for opportunities, being prepared to take it when it presents itself, if price action follows through on it. It's another one. I don't have enough data on this chart, so you need to look at something else, but or your signal data. It's in this area wanting to get short. It's getting towards that, so it's one to keep an eye on. Yep. You guys still there? Okay, Aussie dollar. We've spoken about euro dollar. We've spoken about pound. We've spoken about Kiwi dollar. As I said, it's like the euro is probably trying to do a phase 2. We're getting a bit of divergence there, but the buyers just aren't, haven't been able to push it higher. You got resistance line here and a support line here. Something I want to be short it, but obviously I'm not going to short it down here when your momentum's already overdone. Probably be looking for a little bit of a pullback to the 50 EMA area before you take something like that on. You look at the weekly and it is making higher highs on the weekly. It breaches that low and that's all over. Fundamentally, you'd have to be short this because the dairy industry is almost over, and okay, Christchurch is building, but I don't think that's going to be enough to maintain the economy. And he's overcooked the rates too high. Dollar yen. There's your false break out of that wedge. Everybody's looking at this wedge and going, hey, it's broken out of it. Well, that's a false break because it's now back underneath it. That's not it. There's a horizontal there at 101.30 area. How would you trade this now? I don't know if I would. Would you say that it's cycling and you've got a cycle above the EMA? Geez, those bars, the ATR would be starting to get pretty high on that. It looks like it would have jumped. ATR's pushing up there, having been down into the sort of 27 pips. It's now doubled it to 57. These bars have just gone a little crazy in terms of compared to what it was. And again, this is greenback strength and then a little bit of weakness, and also there's some safe haven buying into yen. It's pretty choppy stuff. It's something I'd prefer to avoid. Dollar Swiss, nice pullback to that support line, which is a pretty good support line. It's broken weekly's a couple of high test bars. Not really sort of going to jump into that though. $0.90. That's something I'm going to run into. Dollar CAD, a bit of a battle between the North Americans. Big support line there, which it got through. It's now sitting above it again. There's price action that you can't justify an entry on that. Dollar Sing, might be an opportunity for a short. Yeah, this high is still intact. Might be an opportunity to short on the daily tomorrow on that one. Again, do your due diligence, but there's potentially something in that. trade there tomorrow. Dollar Rand, nasty. Just nothing there. More range bound than anything. China's getting stronger. But we're also seeing divergence there, clear divergence in the momentum. What you're not seeing though is any sort of strong buying. Certainly over past our extension zones. Again, I don't think I've got the history there to give me that, see if there's any decent support lines that the market's reacting to. But if you short this, and I think some of the guys did get short this, 2 consecutive seller bars. There's your first reversal bar, 2 consecutive seller bars. Your stop would be above this at least. If you haven't already got out, and this is another selling engulfing bar, so you reset, and if this is another seller bar, you can move it on underneath that, but at this point your stop's just above here and you're not looking at buying this at this point. Peso, more divergence. Maybe a phase 2 if you're wanting to trade it. It's not something I'd want to get mixed up in. I know a lot of guys took this one. You're in the phase 2, managing it, 2 seller bars. Well, actually only one if you went in underneath this bar. If you went in underneath that bar, you got 2 seller bars and a potential to move your stop to break even. If you're not in this, tough tits. But that's where your potential target is the 50 EMA. Do you really want to trade the Polish or the ruble with what's going on in there? SEK divergence, maybe an opportunity like the Euro SEK. Check. Again, there's a lot of phase 2 trades which are low probability. Gold going nowhere and silver the same. Okay, that's pretty much it, guys. Not much around. The only thing really worth looking at, and it's against the trend, is this euro taking that back up to 35. That's the only thing I can see that's worthwhile. And it's just been a long winter. Well, since April it's just been really tough trading. I know some people traded this short. I was not prepared to do that in front of that support line of $1.35, but obviously that went through. Aussie's been going nowhere. Kiwi traded the phase 2 like the pound, but it continued through. Yen nowhere. CAD. Yeah, it's just been a friggin' nightmare recently. Anyway, that's it. Anything on the 4-hour? Well, there's not much that's trending. I mean, you've got the euro, maybe Aussie Kiwi, but that again, it's not really in a trend yet. Euro, there is a bit of a trend. The pound is a bit of a trend, but are you really going to try and sell the pound when it's getting divergence? Are you going to try and sell this on the shorter time frame? No, I don't want to. If something's trending, I'm more than happy to take a trade, and that's what euro is. There's a bit of a trend here, and it's every reason for it to be trading phase 2. And so that's why you'd be looking at it. But there's not much else that I can see. Everything's sort of at a tipping point at the end of phase 2. sorry, end of phase one and doing a phase two. Dollar Sing is probably one that's you're looking at for $1, tomorrow for a phase one trade. Again, that's not all that. You might be able to get some money out of that. The shorter time frames, I just don't see an opportunity on much of them. You need to have a trend established before me jumping in on them. I know, there's people like trading breakouts, but again, it's not something I would jump into. Is like trading this breakout. To me, that was a low probability trade. You don't even know where where the breakout was. Depends on where you put your trend line. Are you trading the breakout of that? Or are you trading the breakout of that? And it really didn't go anywhere. So, not a huge fan of breakout trading. The only one I did do was the CAD Yen, which, because it had pretty strong, or been sitting there for a while, finally broke through it. That's the only one really I took, but I'm not seeing much out there, and I haven't seen much for a long time, so it's a little frustrating. But you've just got to be patient and wait for the opportunities when you do see them. And something like the euro dollar getting short that here, expect that to be going short down towards 130, 132 area down here. Is something that, that's from the monthly, isn't it? That's that monthly trend. Down here is something that I'd be very keen to take, but it just hasn't really presented itself an opportunity yet. So just being patient, guys. You have the opportunity to trade the shorter time frames if it presents itself, but I'll be very careful about doing that until there's a trend established. And good luck trying to see anything that's in a trend at the moment. The pound is in a trend, but it's at the end of that trend. Yeah. So anyway, I shall. Pretty quiet week until Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night in terms of our economic calendar. But I'll be speaking to you guys Wednesday morning. If you've got any questions, in the meantime, shoot me an email. Thanks for your time.